Your chest tightens. Your mind races through scenarios that haven't happened yet. You replay conversations, calculate risks, imagine disasters. You call this preparation. You call this responsibility. But deep in your body, something knows the truth. This isn't solving anything. This is suffering, pretending to be useful. Worry feels like protection. Like if you think about the problem enough, you'll prevent the catastrophe. But what if worry itself is the catastrophe? Paramahansa Yogananda, the great Indian yogi who brought meditation to the West, taught something that cuts through all our modern anxiety. He said worry is like driving with the brakes on. You press the accelerator, desperate to move forward, but you've locked the wheels. The engine overheats. The car shudders. Nothing actually moves. And you wonder why you're so exhausted. Today, we simply invite ourselves to settle into this quietness and recognize the peace that already exists beneath the noise of the worried mind. This ancient teaching offers a gentle space to understand how to release the mental brake that stops us from living fully, how to return to the natural state of trust that is your birthright. Feel your breath. Notice how worry lives somewhere in your body right now, maybe in your throat, your stomach, the space behind your eyes. It's not abstract. It's physical. Your heart races. Your shoulders tighten. Your digestion stops. This is your nervous system believing there's danger. Even when you're sitting safely in your home, when you worry, your brain's threat detection center floods your body with stress hormones as if the danger is immediate. Blood moves away from the part of your brain that makes wise decisions, except there's nothing to fight, nothing to flee, just thoughts about something that might happen, might never happen. Every time you worry, you strengthen the neural pathways that make you worry more, not because you're weak, but because worry is a habit, a mental brake you've pulled so many times it feels normal. Worry is a form of fear, and all forms of fear produce fatigue. A man who has learned not to feel fear will find the fatigue of daily life enormously diminished. Yogananda spoke these words to his students, and they echo across time into our lives now. The days when you worry endlessly, don't you feel more exhausted than the days when you work hard but remain peaceful? The worry drains you more than the actual challenge ever could. But here's where Yogananda's wisdom becomes practical. He didn't just say, "Don't worry." He gave a method, a way through. And it begins with understanding something profound. God's most beloved dwelling place is the inner temple of silence and peace within His devotees. There is a place within you, beneath the worried thoughts, beneath the racing mind, where perfect stillness exists, always, unchanged by circumstances, untouched by problems. And when you learn to access that place, everything shifts. Think about it. Has worry ever solved anything? Not concern. Concern is intelligent, necessary. Concern says, "There's a challenge. Let me address it clearly." But worry says, "There's a challenge. Let me torture myself about it endlessly." One leads to action. The other leads to paralysis. Yogananda taught his students a practice he called calm analysis, not denial, not positive thinking that ignores reality, but a radical shift in how you meet difficulty. First, you sit, you breathe, you turn inward to that inner temple, you pray, you meditate, you settle your mind until you feel the calm within. Only then do you look at the problem. And here's what happens. When your mind is calm and filled with faith after praying to God in meditation, you are able to see various answers to your problems. Multiple solutions appear that were invisible when you were agitated. Because your mind is still, you are able to choose the best solution. Follow that solution, and you will have success. This is the missing piece. You don't analyze the problem while you're worried. You don't make decisions while you're panicked. You first go to the source. You first touch peace. Then, from that place of inner stability, you look clearly at your situation. Because when you analyze a problem while worried, you see 10 problems where there's one. Your mind becomes like water disturbed by wind. You cannot see through to the bottom. But when the water is still, when your mind is calm, through prayer and meditation, suddenly you perceive accurately. You see what's actionable and what's fantasy. And from that clarity, wisdom arises. This is why spiritual practice isn't separate from practical life. It's the foundation of it. When you have access to inner stillness through meditation, you become genuinely effective. You respond to reality, not to your fearful interpretations of reality. Yogananda went even deeper. He taught that you must learn to live with simplicity, be as simple as possible, and you will be surprised to see how your life can become uncomplicated and happy. Because complexity feeds worry. But when you strip life down to what's essential, when you know what truly matters, suddenly there's less to worry about. And here's the radical teaching. This world is like a dream. Not that it's unreal, not that your challenges don't matter, but that you're taking it too seriously. When you face failure, say, "This is a dream," and then erase from your mind the idea of failure. When you face success, remember it too is a dream. Don't let experiences hurt you. They are dream experiences passing through consciousness. This isn't spiritual bypassing. This is freedom. Because the stories you tell yourself about the future, the catastrophes you imagine, are dreams. They're not happening. They may never happen. Let's practice this together, right now. Breathe in slowly. Hold for a moment. Breathe out completely. Again, deeper this time. Notice the space between thoughts, that gap, that quietness. It's always there. Worry cannot exist in that space. Fear cannot survive in pure presence. Now bring to mind something you're worried about. Don't push it away. Notice where you feel it in your body, the tightness, the heaviness. Instead of fighting it, ask yourself this: who is aware of this worry? Feel how there's you, spacious, still, aware, and there's the worry, like weather passing through. You are not the worry. You are the space in which worry appears and disappears. You are the consciousness that witnesses thought, that remains unchanged by the content of experience. Rest here, just for this breath, as awareness itself. This is your true nature. This is what Yogananda meant when he said, "You and I and all others are pure spirit." This recognition changes everything. Not that problems disappear, but you stop adding psychological suffering to practical challenges. You stop believing that you are the worried mind. Now, from this place of stillness, look at your challenge again. What are the actual facts? What's real and what's imagination? Several solutions may become visible now that were hidden before. Your mind, calm and clear, can choose wisely. Let's bring this into daily life. You're facing a financial challenge. The bills are real. The concern is legitimate. But notice two different approaches. In the first, you obsess. You cannot focus. You snap at people you love. You cannot sleep. You imagine catastrophe. Your worry consumes you. But your situation doesn't change. You've pulled the brake. Nothing moves. In the second approach, you sit quietly in meditation. You pray. You surrender the problem to something larger than your worried mind. You let your mind settle. Then, from that calm, you look clearly. What can I control? Several solutions appear. Cut expenses here. Increase income there. Reach out for help. Your mind, now calm, chooses the best path. You take action. Then you release the outcome. Which approach solves the problem? The second. And this applies to everything. Relationships, health, career, parenting. A parent worries constantly about their child. Will they be safe? Will they succeed? The worry feels like love, but it's not. Love is present. Worry is absence. You're not actually here with your child. You're lost in future scenarios. And children feel that. What if instead you did what you could to guide and protect them, prayed for their highest good, and then trusted that your child has their own path, their own protection from the divine intelligence that guides all life? This is what Yogananda meant by faith, not blind belief, but a deep trust that when you align yourself with the divine through meditation and prayer, when you do your part with clarity and love, life itself supports you. The secret of health for both mind and body is not to mourn for the past, worry about the future, or anticipate troubles, but to live in the present moment wisely and earnestly. This present moment, this breath, this is where life is actually happening. This is where you have power. This is where solutions appear. Everything else is imagination. Modern life makes this harder. We're bombarded by information, by choices, by demands. Our minds are overstimulated, fragmented, scattered, and worry thrives in complexity. Yogananda's answer: simplify, not as deprivation, but as liberation. Do you really need to consume every piece of news? To consider every possibility? To control every outcome? Or can you trust that if you stay connected to that inner temple of silence, if you meditate daily and keep your mind calm, you'll know what to do when you need to know? There's a practice Yogananda taught his students. Each day, sit calmly and affirm with deep conviction, I have no birth, no death, no caste. I have no father, no mother. I am the infinite spirit. I am He. I am infinite bliss. This isn't arrogance. This is remembering the truth. You are not this worried body-mind. You are the consciousness that animates it. You are divine, eternal, untouched by the temporary dramas of human life. And when you remember this, really feel this, worry loses its grip. Because worry only exists when you've forgotten what you are. When you believe you're only this small, vulnerable, separate self, trying to survive in a threatening world. But you're not. You're infinite consciousness, experiencing itself as this particular human. And consciousness doesn't worry. It simply is. One more question for you to carry. What if the thing you're worried about is exactly what you need for your growth? The trials that come to you are not to punish you, but to awaken you. They are God's tests, meant to strengthen you, not to break you. When you see life this way, worry loses its power, not because problems disappear, but because you stop resisting life. You meet each moment, pleasant or difficult, with presence, with trust that there's a deeper intelligence at work. So here's the practice. When worry arises, don't fight it. Don't judge yourself for feeling it. Instead, go to your inner temple. Sit in meditation. Pray. Ask for guidance. Let your mind become still. And in that stillness, filled with faith, you will see what you need to see. Solutions will appear that worry could never find. Release the brake. Stop fighting against yourself. Stop exhausting yourself with mental warfare against situations you cannot control. Instead, do what you can with clarity and care, and then surrender the results to God. This doesn't mean you won't feel fear sometimes. You will. You're human. But you'll know it's just fear, just a sensation, just a thought pattern. Not truth, not destiny, not who you are. You are the awareness that watches fear arise and pass. You are the stillness that holds all experience. You are pure spirit, temporarily wearing a human form. And spirit doesn't worry. It rests in the eternal now, trusting the divine order of all things. Breathe into that now. Feel the relief of not having to control everything. Feel the spaciousness of trusting life. Feel the peace of remembering who you really are. If this landed somewhere in you, let it settle. Don't rush to the next thing. Sit with the silence for a moment. Return to your inner temple whenever worry visits. And when it does, because it will, remember, you have a choice. You can feed the worry with attention and belief, or you can recognize it as passing weather and return to the stillness that's always here, waiting for you. If you'd like to explore more teachings that bring ancient wisdom into the chaos of modern life, you know where to find us. Until then, stay present, stay simple, stay awake to the divine consciousness you are. The peace you're seeking isn't somewhere else. It's here, in this breath, in this moment, in the inner temple of silence that God loves most. It always was.